when you're on a budget and you're at your daughter's wedding, get you a case of Dr. Thunder.
Welcome to MD Arsenals. Stop by our store located in Hagerstown, Maryland, right off the I-70. Our range and shop hours are Monday through Friday, 10 to 8, and Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 7. To find out more about our upcoming classes and other services, please visit our website, www.mdarsenal.com. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and watch for the upcoming MD Arsenal podcast.
Need portable displays for conventions and conferences, to home shows, parties, and DJ backdrops? ExpoNet USA provides the best pricing and service for all your print and branding and marketing needs. You've got a guy. Call Display J at 301-378-9363 or www.exponetusa.com. Also available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
This is the Salty Sam Show, where we talk about all the topics of what's going on in today's America in the saltiest fashion. We have the vent hotline in the bottom. We always take phone calls, anonymously, of course, and you're allowed to vent anything that you feel, because in this show, in the Salty Sam Show, we believe in an unfiltered expression, and we believe in free speech and being able to say whatever it is that you want to say. So joining us, growing the Salty Sam Show, is actually giving you a voice and bringing power back to the American people and to the entire world of self-expression. Thank you, and I hope to see you on the show. Hope to hear from you.
People back together having fun.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 20-volt cordless power drill. I'm going to actually put it right here. Oh my God. It's stuck. I don't know what to do. It's stuck.
Reverse.
Reverse.
Hit the reverse button.
I don't.
I feel like that's a really good way to clear up a sinus infection.
Let's head out to the coast. Let's just get on a boat and sail. Let's sit and watch the snow at a cabin no one knows in Vail. And I'm in to make a home in any town we end up going through. 'Cause you know that I don't care for where we go. I don't give a damn for what we do, as long as I'm there with you. Anywhere will do. As long as I'm there with you. Something like that. Like I said.
Yes. Exclusive. That was exclusive.
Yeah.
This is the Podcast Pit, brought to you by Ben Media.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that special time of the week. You know what time it is. It is time to talk some wrestling. This is the Podcast Pit. I am your host, former professional wrestler, promoter of Voltage Wrestling, jack of all trades, master of what I do not know, Mike Raddick. I'm alongside my broadcast partner, standing in for the one and only Rennis the Menace. It is the one and only killer, Kyle Reyes. Yes, that's the moniker I'm going to give. I don't know why. It just
okay.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm an avowed pacifist, but I'll go with it.
Okay. Yeah, he's a nice guy, ladies and gentlemen. He wouldn't kill anybody. But needless to say, we're here live, the Podcast Pit. It's been a busy week in the world of wrestling. A lot of loss in the world of wrestling this week. The big news. The loss of professional wrestler, a professional wrestling legend, beautiful Bobby Eaton, passed away this week. One of when you hear the term tag team specialist, this man's picture has to come up in the dictionary. It's got to come up right beside the definition. This man, part of the legendary tag team, the Midnight Express, had some really good runs in the NWA and WCW, especially early WCW there in the 90s. One of the best tag team wrestlers in history, one of the best workers in history, to be honest. And a wonderful human being to boot.
Yep.
Yeah. I've worked with Bobby a couple of times on independent shows. Always very helpful, especially to the younger talent. We'll sit there and help out younger talent whenever he could. Just a sad day in professional wrestling.
Yeah, and that seems to be the story coming out from everybody, is that there's just not a bad thing to say about this guy.
Yeah, it's like almost like Owen Hart. Like nobody could find a bad thing to say
it's
about
just a profound loss for the entire community as a whole.
Absolutely. Especially, somebody with the great mind that he has, number one, and then somebody who all around was just a good human being. Bobby Eaton. Very, very sad loss.
Big loss.
But on top of that, we had the assassin Jody Hamilton pass away this week as well. Don't have a slide for him, but he passed away this week. He was one of the people who ran the power plant in some of the early days of WCW.
Okay.
Was actually responsible for training Kevin Nash. So he brought Kevin Nash into the business, brought a lot of guys there in early WCW into the business, and one of the premier wrestling trainers in history, as well as a damn good worker. So Jody Hamilton has passed away this week, and also locally we've had some loss in the area locally this week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were a fan of professional wrestling in Western Maryland over the last 30 years, chances are you've seen a professional wrestling match in this very building. It was a stone's throw away from where our asses are sitting right now. It was the one and only House of Pain.
Now it's just a pile of stones to throw.
Yes, it is it has literally been left in rubble this week. They tore down the former location of the Superior Pro Wrestling Training Center, and looks like they're building a Dollar General in its place, I believe.
I guess so, yeah.
But if you were a professional wrestling fan in Western Maryland, chances are you've seen a match in this building. Chances are you've been a part of professional wrestling in this building, but just a profound loss. We're gonna get into more of that later, but first we have some WWE news to talk about.
Yeah, just another strain of releases yesterday.
Yes, a
little bit later in the day too.
Yeah, I know, it was like a huge strain of releases. NXT, I believe, and keep in mind, I'm just hearing about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just hearing about the releases, so I haven't even seen the names.
I saw a few last night. The one that kind of stuck out with Mercedes is gone.
Mercedes Martinez?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That seemed to be the one that really struck Twitter as a holy crap,
Yeah, and I've had Mercedes Martinez on one of my events when I was running Fight Pro Wrestling. Again, an incredible talent, an incredible mind, and probably one of the best women's wrestlers that you haven't heard a lot about over the last 20 years. One of the pioneers of this whole women's revolution that you're kind of seeing in the business right now. Just a pioneer as a whole. Started out in the early 2000s. There was Shimmer, was a staple of Shimmer there, and basically, if you had a women's division on your wrestling promotion, or if you were running an all women's wrestling promotion, that's one of the first people you would bring in is Mercedes Martinez.
I follow a lot of women's wrestling on Twitter,
Yeah.
and like that was the whole story. Is like everybody had nothing but nice things to say. I wished her best of luck, and it was always just like this was a huge part of my upbringing, like my coming into the business. Kind
Well,
of
yeah.
thing. So
No, like people don't realize how good women's wrestling was back way back in the early 2000s. I feel, I don't know, I feel like I'm just kind of dating everything. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've like started the wrestling business. Like I remember the women's wrestlers that were around at that time were really, really good in the ring. And, you know, you didn't see it on television for like 10, 15 years. Like this was like kind of post Trish Stratus and Gail Kim. And
right.
But you didn't see it on WWE television for, you know, another 15 years. But once it got there, it's just like everybody's like, this is what you've been missing for a long time. And
well, I've got I got the whole list of.
You got the whole list of releases here for WWE?
Yeah, this came out. This is from Sean Ross of Fightful.com. Last night, this came out at 9:20. So I mean, this is a bit late in the day for a list of releases. But we got Bobby Fish, Bronson Reed. That was a name that kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Jake Atlas.
They released Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Ari Sterling, Kona Reeves, Leon Ruff, Stephon Smith, Tyler Rust, Zechariah Smith, Asher Hale, Giant Zangier, and of course Mercedes Martinez.
Wow, so Bobby Fish and Mercedes Martinez are the two that sticks out on that list for me. Bobby Fish is a hell of a talent.
Yeah.
You're likely going to see him back in ROH. I hope so.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I want to see a match between him and Davey Richards again, that's for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, I saw a match with them in, like, 2012, I want to say it was, at ROH's Final Battle where, like, it was Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards versus Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly.
Okay.
And the word stiff is what I remember from that match. I remember it ended with Richards hooking Bobby Fish in a half Boston Crab and just taking his foot and stomping on the back of his head.
Ow.
And I'm just sitting there like, oh, this is why I don't wrestle anymore.
That is not
because I wouldn't even have thought up that, but
that's not a good time.
Needless to say, I did watch Raw this week.
Oh, why?
Oh, I know. And keep in mind, I haven't watched in a while, so I'm unfamiliar with a lot of the characters. I really am. But it just seemed like I found myself asking, who in the hell is this? Who in the hell is this guy? Mustafa Ali I saw and knew. I did not know who Mansoor is. But, yeah,
I'll be honest, I haven't watched in a while myself.
Yeah, like, there was just a lot of guys on that show. I'm just like, man, like, there's nobody that normally you'll disappear for a couple of years and there'll be somebody that you remember.
Right.
There was nobody on this show other than like Alexa Bliss that I even knew. Mm-hmm. And you kind of wonder, it's just like, man, what are we doing up here? Like, there's just nobody.
Nah, I have no idea what's going on in WWE anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like they got like 6 guys.
Well, yeah, I know Drew McIntyre was doing some stuff with Jinder Mahal, which on one hand it is good to see both of those guys, you know, on the top of the cards because they deserve it.
Little 3MB reunion there.
Yeah, more so. Yeah, I mean, sans Heath Slater, but
right,
you know, but. Yeah, you had those two on the top of the card, which is great. You know, both of them should be. Jinder, I think, got pushed a little too fast, and it probably hurt him. But,
yeah. He had a solid run, though.
He had a solid run. It's just, yeah, like when you have other top guys saying, "Yeah, this guy ain't ready yet."
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know Brock Lesnar was the nail in the coffin, I believe, for him.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you mean to tell me you're bringing me back to a pay-per-view to do this? Like, I remember that conversation.
I think the biggest problem with that whole push was that once it ended, it just ended.
Yeah. There
was no follow-up. It was a flat line.
Yes, and just saying, good morning, Mike Black. We'll be getting on the ATCW here towards the end of the show. So, yeah, we got an ATCW preview tonight because that's going to be a hell of a card down in Kearneysville.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, WWE. I want to I started watching. I want to find some good because we do kind of take a dump on WWE. Like
a little bit, yeah.
I mean, it's gotten to be where people know us.
It happened and it was awful. Here once more.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what happens. Like we do take a dump on WWE quite a bit on this show.
I'll go ahead and I'll put this out there because I've been on before and I've talked about the weird gimmicks that I like and I love it. I'm all behind the Nikki Cross, the Nikki Ash, almost superhero thing.
It's not getting over though.
That's unfortunate.
It's not getting over. Like hats off to her for trying, but it's not working.
Well, she's gone through several gimmicks now.
Yeah,
since she got called up.
And then putting Charlotte Flair in the position of like, hey, I've got to make this work, and I'm trying my damnedest. And you could tell both of those girls are trying their ass off. Yeah. Like they're trying, it's just not working.
I'm not sure there was a whole lot of forethought. Into putting that forward. But
no, I mean, I'll say this: give it maybe another month or two to marinate, and then we'll see where we're at.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to write it off completely. Like you've already committed, so follow through a little bit.
Yep.
Give them their couple of months to do what they can with it. But
changing direction midway has never worked well.
No.
Yeah, and so there's just you got a course, stay the course kind of thing. I don't know. I hope eventually Nikki can get over with everybody. She's certainly over with me, but I'm the kind of guy who loves those kind of gimmicks. So,
yeah. No, so on to AEW this week. Lots of stuff going on over there.
Yep.
Yes, lots of stuff going on over at AEW.
And the labors of Jericho continue.
The labors of Jericho continued, and it's been awesome thus far. Juventud Guerrera, good to see him back on TNT.
Yeah, I saw that. That was the opening match on Dynamite the other day.
Yeah, that was the opening match on Dynamite.
Jericho versus Juventud Guerrera. I'm like, what year is it? Mm-hmm.
No, I remember I used to love their matches like in 97, 98. Like that was right when I was getting back into my wrestling fandom because there for a while I wasn't. It was like late 97 that I kind of started catching on again.
Right.
So seeing those matches on TV just kind of gives you a little nostalgic childhood my childhood kind of thing.
For sure.
So no, hats off to them putting that match together. And the Nick Gage match the week before was that was a surprise.
Yeah, it was intense.
Yeah, and even Jericho, I saw Jericho put him over this week for just being an incredible talent to work with.
Yep.
Which, hey, I know deathmatch wrestlers get a lot of flack, but a lot of them are actually pretty good workers. Yeah. Nick Gage, Necro Butcher. Like, I remember Necro Butcher being just a fantastic worker back in the day. Butcher. Yeah, so there is that. But, yeah, AEW this week. Cody Rhodes. What was that? Like insinuating a retirement this week on AEW.
I don't know. To me, I think he's going to take a page of the old Mark Henry playbook.
Yeah.
The fake retirement kind of thing. I mean, obviously, I think Cody Rhodes is anywhere near retirement.
No, it was surprising how this all happened because like he goes and has this excellent match with Malachi Black
in his debut.
In his debut for AEW, and Malachi Black basically handed him his ass on television.
Massacred him. I mean, right from the beginning.
And afterwards, cuts this really heartfelt promo, and you could tell he was Dusty Rhodes' kid when you hear this promo. Like, just a really fantastic promo. He goes to take the boots off. Has one off, lays it in the ring, and then Malachi Black comes in and just waylays him, and kind of just takes him out.
He's not done yet.
Yeah, and we had Miro go up against one of the Nightmare Factory students. This week. A fantastic match. Gave the kid a hell of a showing too, but at the end, it's Miro doing Miro things.
Miro's having a hell of a run with that belt.
Oh, is he ever?
It's so good to see. I mean, if never a more deserving man.
Absolutely.
And this whole God's whole chosen champion thing, just excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent way to go. We had a little bit of Eddie Kingston, Darby Allin, and John Moxley in the ring together.
Yeah,
doing a little showcase match.
Doing a little showcase. Who they work this week?
Oh, you know what? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't think it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It was great. Whatever they like. I remember the match being good. I just don't remember who they worked.
Right.
It was two kids that just got released from NXT.
Yep.
And
I'll have it here in a second.
Yeah. Those two kids that got released from NXT, and then somebody who had been there for a bit, and the names are escaping me, but it's a hell of a match.
I just know Twitter was all for a team up with Moxley and Allen and Kingston.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
baby faces that are just over the moon.
And having Sting out there.
Oh, yeah.
The spot outside where one of the kids was just like, oh, you're the real Sting. A wink and nod to storylines past, so to speak.
They defeated Matt Lee, Jeff Parker, and Daniel Garcia.
Well, hell of a match. That was a hell of a match on Dynamite.
And you can just tell Sting is just having the time of his life.
He sure is.
I mean, he's enjoying whatever they're giving him. He's having a good time with it. He's rolling with it, and it's good to see. It's good to see Sting back on TV and not in a position where he has to work every week to get over.
Yeah,
like he's in that mentor, the grandfather wrestling kind of role, and that's exactly where he should be right now. And it's a nice mixture of nostalgia and moving forward. Passing the torch on to somebody like Darby and everything. So I'm a big fan of what's going on over there.
Yeah, and again, probably three of your most popular acts at AEW coming together.
Yeah.
For basically, I mean, it was out there. It was what it was. It was to put on a good match.
Yep.
And they did that. They delivered, and excellent showing by all six men.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a match like that on the card and on TV.
Also, we set up Britt Baker versus Red Velvet for the debut of Rampage.
That's a good setup.
It sure is. Yeah. I believe the debut of Rampage, we're also getting the Jericho and Wardlow match.
Yeah, the fourth labor of Jericho. Kind of felt out of place, getting Wardlow to be the last marker before he gets MJF again.
Well, the week after on Rampage, because that's going to be the big one.
Right.
That's the first dance. The first dance.
The first dance.
Yeah, so who knows what could happen? I think we all do. But
we got ideas. Yeah, we're all speculating.
Yeah, I think we all know. I think we all know where this is going.
Yeah. I do really enjoy this Labors of Jericho thing they've got going on. It almost feels like a last hurrah, but I'm not entirely sure it is. It'd probably be Jericho's. Well, I mean, Jericho's going back on tour at some point.
So. Well, yeah. So you're going to be seeing some less and less TV time,
Right.
which right now is probably the best time to do it since you have a bunch of new guys coming in.
Yeah.
That can kind of carry the load.
Well, he's been going pretty much nonstop since
Yeah.
AEW inception. So
yeah, and I mean he's been leaving half his body in the ring the last couple of weeks.
Ain't that the truth, man?
Yeah, like you could tell he was still beat up from the week before.
Yep.
On Dynamite this week. So hats off to him.
Let's talk a minute for what's going on with Hangman and the Elite and the Dark Order and everything. I feel like that's kind of going into left field a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a little. I'll be honest with you. I think AEW is about to make their first major mistake. Which, I mean, you can't say that. You can't say the Pyro incident was a major mistake, because that really wasn't on them. However, I think they're about to make their first major mistake from a storyline standpoint, and here's why. So you have Hangman Adam Page, and it's foregone. It's pretty much been known that they were trying to make Hangman Adam Page the guy.
Right.
Yes, he was the guy that was going to dethrone Kenny Omega for the championship. However, we're getting right to the time where this needs to happen, and we're hearing reports that they're backing off of it, they're slowing it down, or they're pushing it until later. And we're also seeing, and we've got Christian Cage coming up undefeated.
Yep.
We're also seeing him kind of being thrust into that spot to where it seems that he's going to be the guy at All Out.
Yeah.
It seems like he's going to be the guy at All Out.
I don't think that was the original intention at all.
No, I don't think that's the original intention. I get hey, this guy's undefeated, from a logic standpoint, it does make sense. However, you tease the Adam Page match, and now we're going with an established star to take out Kenny Omega rather than building one of your own homegrown baby faces.
Right.
And I think that is a major mistake. I've seen TNA do this twice.
It's a mistake right out of the TNA playbook.
Yeah, I've seen TNA do this twice. They did it once with Monty Brown in 2005, which ironically was because Christian Cage came in and they decided to go with him as NWA champion. And then a year later, they did the same thing with Samoa Joe when Kurt Angle came in, and they decided to go with Kurt Angle immediately rather than waiting for 6 months, building up that Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe match, and letting Samoa Joe kind of come into his own with that championship. I honestly, I think going with your guy is the way to go, because at the end of the day, a guy like Christian Cage is going to draw whether he has a championship or not.
Agreed.
He's an established star. He doesn't need a championship to get him over. A guy like Hangman Adam Page coming up, and where it's been insinuated and teased that this is the next guy.
Literally from the beginning.
Yeah, you stand a chance of fans losing faith in that character.
Yeah.
And I think, like, just my personal opinion, even if you're not going to go with him for a long time, you've got to pay that off.
Yeah.
You can't tease it and not pay it off, because then it's just like that's a letdown. Like, pay it off, take it off of him early, and then kind of have him work his way back up, because at the end of the day, I think he's a good enough talent to where, you know, he can work from underneath and kind of build himself right back up. And that title win needs to happen so fans don't lose faith in him.
He needs the belt.
Yes.
Yeah, he absolutely needs the belt at some point.
He does need
and
that
sooner
championship.
than later.
Yes.
Christian Cage does not need that belt. Omega does not need that belt anymore.
And hell, even some of the guys that they're rumored right now, rumored innuendo, that are coming in, like Daniel Bryan or CM Punk, they don't need that championship right off the bat.
Absolutely not. I'm not sure they ever do.
No, CM Punk never needs a championship again. I think he's a made man, and like he's going to be a draw wherever he goes in the wrestling world.
Yep.
However, a guy like Adam Page, you know, he needs to be made, and at the end of the day,
and I think a lot of this started to go off the rails too with All Out being in Chicago, and then all these rumors of Punk basically being a done deal at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever happens at that pay-per-view, like, it's going to be overshadowed with that Chicago crowd with Punk.
Yeah. And here's another thing, too, that you got to look at. Punk's coming off of 2 pretty embarrassing MMA losses.
Yeah.
And coming back into the wrestling world and coming right on top, that's not a good look.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, headlining a card, absolutely.
Sure.
But working on the top of the championship, if that's the way that they're going to go, I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, and hell, I've never booked a national wrestling promotion, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the be all end all here. But in my personal opinion, because everybody has an opinion on wrestling booking these days, in my personal opinion, I think it's a mistake. And I hope I hope at the end of the day we're going in all out and we're still seeing Adam Page walk out with that championship.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, that's also my birthday weekend. I've already got it planned out to do that, and that's what I'm hoping is the payoff at the end. That's what I'm hoping is my birthday present, is a Adam Page championship win. Either way, I'm still looking forward to it. I mean, AEW's made a few mistakes here and there, but overall, I've trusted their long-term storytelling. So I got to believe that they can. Maybe there's something going on that we're not aware of, we don't recognize. Maybe they'll course correct and do the right thing.
This isn't WWE where you have precedent to expect the absolute worst sometimes. So,
this isn't an abusive relationship.
I think that's why I think that's why they get a. I think that's why they get a pass on some of this stuff.
Yeah,
and,
agreed.
All right, we're going to the chat here. I got Wes Fetty in the chat. Only reason Wardlow is working Jericho is because Wardlow is from Pittsburgh. That makes sense.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. AEW's debut in Pittsburgh.
And I didn't mean I'm not crapping on Wardlow. I'm coming around on him. I really like the guy. I just it seems out of place as the fourth labor. I get he's got to fight the homegrown talent kind of thing, like his bodyguard. But after the first 3 go to Wardlow, it seems a little out of place. But you know what? Long term, I trust it.
Yeah, no, Wardlow's. I have nothing bad to say about Wardlow.
No.
I enjoy watching him and MJF do their thing on television.
Yeah, and he's come a long way from just being like the silent bodyguard kind of thing. He's got some in-ring talent. The character's coming along. I'm excited for it. So yeah, it's not shitting on Wardlow at all. It was surprising to me that it wasn't earlier on, maybe.
Oh, but speaking on people shitting on people, here's the next story. We're going to get the slide up here momentarily. But this isn't even AEW. We're going back to WWE here for a little bit. Ronda Rousey this week making some rounds.
Jeez.
Ronda Rousey making some rounds here this week.
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. And so Ronda Rousey's making. It's going to be the next slide. Actually, it's okay. Yeah, you're good, man. Yep. You're good. No, LAJ is juggling a bunch of stuff back here, man. You gotta love him. We appreciate him
always.
Yeah. No. So Ronda Rousey with a tweet this week in regards to Bray Wyatt's release. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna read this here. Oh, if I can. It's so small. No. So. Ronda Rousey, I've seen you fans chanting "We want Wyatt" last night, chanting "We want beach balls" over Bray Wyatt performing. If WWE treated him like he was expendable, it's because you ungrateful fans did first. Okay. So, I've made my feelings known about Ronda Rousey this week.
Yeah.
So, I'm granted, this does happen at wrestling events where even some of the most over talents, like people are just kind of in their own world and having a good time. The beach balls at wrestling events, yeah. Personally, I wouldn't do it if I was a fan at a wrestling event. But you want to know what? Here's the thing, and a lot of people don't get, when a wrestling fan pays their money, they could do whatever they want in that crowd as long as they're not hurting somebody physically or, hurting the wrestlers. They paid their ticket. They can do what they want. Yeah, sometimes it's not the reaction that you want to receive. However, they paid their ticket. They've earned that right to do what they want in the crowd.
Yeah, you cannot control the crowd like that.
Now, as for Rousey and why the fans weren't very welcoming to her after a while, maybe Ronda Rousey, maybe you should have looked in the mirror. Look in the mirror. At the end of the day, it was you that went on there and didn't make yourself so welcoming when you were going and doing media and press tours when they would bring up your MMA career and the 2 losses that you had. That's going to come up. But you acted very condescending. You acted rude. You came off as just completely, holier than thou. Looked like she was putting her hat and glasses on the entire time when she came into WWE.
Yep.
And then seeing these videos about talking about how hard the life is. Yes, this is a professional wrestling. The life is hard. I get it. You weren't even working a full-time schedule.
No.
And not that I'm going to sit there and shame on anybody for that, because I think some of these part-time schedules are good for business, to be honest with you, because it makes that person a bigger draw when you're not seeing them each and every night during the week.
It adds to the allure.
Yes, sure. I think it adds to the allure. However, Ronda Rousey even bitched about the part-time schedule. What did you think this was going to be? This isn't ballet, and I'm sorry, professional wrestling is a lot harder on the body than MMA.
Yep.
I know a lot of people out there are going to sit there and disagree with me. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Yes, in MMA, in MMA, yeah, you're going to take a couple of hits. You know you're going to take some hits. In wrestling, professional wrestling, you know you're getting beat up every night.
Yep.
You're throwing yourself at the ground 25, 30 times. This is the lifestyle. If you didn't know what the lifestyle was or you weren't prepared to handle that lifestyle, you shouldn't have gotten that in the first place. And it seemed like you really didn't want to be in there in the first place. It seemed like you didn't want to be a part of the wrestling business. You were doing it for a paycheck and to keep yourself out there. And that's okay. I'm not going to fault anybody for making any money. However, don't sit there and come back and shit on the fans that paid your salary, that showed up to the events. At the end of the day, the fans still showed up to see you. You should be happy for that. Personally for me, I've never made any money. Hell, I've never been an MMA fighter. I don't know what it is like to perform at that level, but I do know, don't shit on the fans.
No.
Do not, that is one thing. That is one thing that always irks me. Do not shit on the people that are paying you the money that you're making, especially when you're making a 7-figure salary like she was. Sorry, Ronda Rousey, no sympathy for me.
Yeah, the whole reason that you have a career is those people in the seats.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's just please just go away. Just go away for a while. I said this to a friend one time, and he thought I was crazy. The first interview she did after signing with WWE, she did with Max Kellerman of ESPN, and basically acted like a little snot on television for 30 minutes of this interview because he was asking about her MMA losses, which he's got to do. He's a reporter, and it was 2 really surprising losses.
Yep.
I'm sorry, the loss to Holly Holm, and then who's the other one? I believe it was Miesha Tate that she lost to the second time, or was it a Nunez?
I don't remember.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was like, he's like, in time, do you think you could go back to MMA? And she's like, I'm sorry, what? In time, could you go? No, I can't go back in time. You knew what he was asking.
Yeah.
You knew what he was asking, but she wanted to be a snot to, just, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't get why people act like this, especially people that are making a hell of a lot more money than a lot of blue collar Americans that are watching you do what you do. I don't get it.
Yeah. But there was maybe she saw, I forget exactly who was involved at the time, but it was right towards the end of her run on Raw.
Yeah.
she got the absolute piss beat out of her. I mean, like, legitimately. Like, she was all bloodied up and everything, and, like, the fans were cheering as she was getting, like, just beat the shit out of.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that left a sour taste in her mouth or not. But, like, she kind of did it to herself.
She kind of did it to herself, and I'll be honest with you, though, I'm not going to blame it entirely on Ronda because the booking was that typical WWE, hey, we've got to over-explain everything, we've got to shove this down everyone's throat, and they treat their fans like they're the dumbest people in the world.
Yeah, she shows up and she's immediately involved in the highest title picture.
Well, and hell, even that makes sense. It's just the promos were very overproduced.
Yep.
It wasn't all her fault. However, when you're seeing what she's tweeting, like in her personal time about wrestling fans, it's just like, guys, this is why the fans reacted the way that they did, because you were ungrateful to them. So they're going to be ungrateful right back. You get what you give.
No, I mean,
you get what you give in this business.
We live in an era too where the fans will protect the business.
Well, yeah, yes and no. Yes, yeah. Well, that's a conversation for another day.
That's a whole.
We can have.
That's a whole conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a yeah. However, the next big thing I want to talk about here, we actually got to slide a picture of the remnants of the House of Pain. Yep, we are here. As you can see, there is not much left of that building. That building is completely gone.
Well, that's from the
that's from day one.
Yeah, it is not looking like that now.
Keep in mind, I like that was from Tuesday, I believe. It was Tuesday or Wednesday. So Tuesday night, that building was completely intact. Wednesday morning, I believe that building was completely intact, and then Wednesday evening when I came in here, it was gone.
Yep.
So. Every fan in the Western Maryland area knows about this building.
Yep.
Every single last one. If you were a fan of wrestling in this area, you've probably watched a wrestling match in that building at some point in time.
Brian Carball says, "Finally."
Finally, yes. Yeah, I know. We were getting there, Brian. Sorry.
No, I think it means it's finally gone.
Oh, fine. Well, no. I know Brian was a big fan of the House of Pain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Brian was down there a lot of the Tuesday and Saturday nights, which, like he said, it is the Sportatorium of Hagerstown. The Sportatorium of Hagerstown. So, and I mean, it's very true. Like Tuesday and Saturday nights for the longest time, there would be wrestling matches down there. Whether you loved the owner or hated the owner of the House of Pain, John Rambo. The one thing you can say, he was consistent. He's consistent. They had over 1,000 cards down there. I mean, easily, probably a hell of a lot more, to be honest. I mean, every Tuesday and Saturday nights, they were running 9 times a month sometimes down to that building.
Damn.
Yeah. So you had a guaranteed 8. You had a guaranteed 8 dates when you worked there, and I mean, for a professional wrestler, getting that kind of work. That's a very good way to hone your craft.
Yep.
And I know guys like Robbie Page can attest to that because Robbie was one of the guys down there that, night in, night out worked there. Corey Bush, the Weight of the World, Corey Bush, he's another guy that was down there and honed his craft and, made himself the talent that he is today around here.
Brandon Scott came through there.
Brandon Scott started and came through there. Even Brandon Scott's other trainer, Shorty Smalls, kind of brought him into that fold, and just a lot. If you were talent in the area, you worked there. Yep. I worked there. In 2005, I went down there and worked for an entire year there before moving on to other promotions. But yeah, you knew if you were a professional wrestler in this area, you were making a stop at the Neil Superior Professional Wrestling School. You were going to be working there. You were going to, it was a hard environment to come up in because they worked very tight down there.
Old school.
Yeah, it was very old school. The fans were right up on you, so you kind of had to be.
Yep.
You worked very tight down there, and at the end of the day, regardless, because I've seen a lot of. It's been very polarizing this week. So I've seen a lot. There's been a few out there that were happy that it was gone. There's been a great many that were sad because of the memories that they left in that place. Like I know ATCW promoter Chucky Manson, he worked down there for a good 9-10 years, and you would see him each and every week coming out there and busting his ass for wrestling fans. Mike Black, I remember the first time I met Mike Black, the other promoter of ATCW, was down at the House of Pain. He was there each and every Tuesday and Saturday night as a fan at that point in time. And just regardless of your feelings, either on the promotion or the person running the promotion, which that's a podcast for another day.
Right.
There's a lot of wrestling history in that building, and a lot of great talent came out of there. I
know a lot of people are going through and getting a brick. Kind of thing,
Oh, I've seen a lot of wrestlers stop over there. As I'm pulling into the studio, you'll kind of see them here and there. Like I've seen everybody from Corey to I know. I want to say Deuce and Shorty were down there earlier this week. Hell, I even saw Butch Hess over there grabbing a brick, which, as he should. Like, there's a lot of there's a lot of history of that building. Yeah,
it's been a staple of wrestling in this area for decades. So.
Yeah, it's always sad to see an old wrestling venue go.
Yeah.
It is.
But, life
Flex
is...
Phenom, there's another one. Eric Ecton started there, the Highwaymen.
Brian coming through with the clutch there with the history.
Yeah, he's coming. Brian probably saw more wrestling matches there than anybody.
Oh, I believe it.
Absolutely. But speaking some of the names, I mentioned Shorty Smalls. I mentioned Chucky Manson. I also I failed to mention Deuce Donatelli. They got a pretty big match coming up tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so they got a match coming up tonight. We've got ATCW Meltdown. So I'm going to pull up this card here, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it a little bit because this is a pretty big event. This is going to be apparently the last match of Chucky Manson.
Really?
Yeah, that's what. If I read that correctly this morning, if I'm wrong, please correct me here. But we've got the Cage of Terror. It's a 6-man tag. It is going to be Shorty Smalls, Chucky Manson, and Deuce Donatelli versus the Mid-Atlantic Wrecking Crew, featuring Anthony Athens, Travis Tarvin, and Will Belamonte. We've got the ATCW Championship. Doug Delicious is finally going to defend his title against Jai Cole, the man who he kind of cheated out of his opportunity at getting the championship a few months ago. We've got the ATCW Tag Team titles, AK and Isaiah Frazier, the Fly Fellows, versus a tag team called Open Opportunity. All right. We've got a triple threat match featuring Chris Slade against Grizzly O and Vam Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of heels out there. Vam Williams is the heel to end all heels. That man, you got to see him live. You have to see Vam Williams live one time. But we've got an open challenge title, Battle Royal. Roughneck, the champion, is going to be defending against the following men: Van Hansen, Blackhawk, Mr. Jones, Sean Castle. Good to see Sean Castle on the card here. TMHK, Ghost, Showtime, The Violator, Willie Radical, and there's going to be more in this match. This is a stacked card, guys.
Yeah, it is.
This is a stacked card. If you're a fan of indie wrestling here in the area, you want to get out to ATCW this evening. The doors open at 6:15. Bell time is at 7 o'clock. We are at the Leetown Community Center, I believe, out in Kearneysville, West Virginia.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, and great venue, good food. They got some really good food. Yeah. I remember the last time that I was there, just getting the spaghetti dinner that they do before the shows. And, man, you know how... basically, if it's pasta, I'm eating it. Yeah, like it's just like I'm a huge fan of pasta, but like the food at this venue is just phenomenal.
Leave it to you to put the food over.
Oh, I'm always gonna put the food over. They have some nice old lady that has baked goods there. Like it's just fantastic.
Yeah, if you ever go to a wrestling show around here and you need to know if like the bar is gonna have good food or anything, just hit up Mike.
Yeah, you definitely should. Yeah. I know where all the food spots are, and this is definitely
it's good knowledge to have.
Even if you're not a wrestling fan, go there for the food. Pay your $15. Go there for the food because it's phenomenal. Even if you're not, throw Mike Black a couple of bucks and then go in there and get some brownies, get some good food. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, and then go watch wrestling.
You're going to get a good card tonight. Like, if you're not a wrestling fan, you'll become one going on an ATCW show.
If I'd had to work, I'd be there.
Exactly. Yeah, my days, like, jam-packed or I'd be there. But, fans, definitely get yourself out there, get yourself to ATCW, and support these guys. Support Chucky Manson, support Mike Black, and the rest of the ATCW roster. It's going to be a blast, and I know they'll appreciate you coming out. So, all right. I think we have one more. We have one. Oh, we're going to talk. Yes, we do have one more story.
It's Voltage. Yeah.
Yes, we do have our Voltage Wrestling to talk about. With the last part of the show here, we will finish it off with. I know we're a little biased. This is my favorite promotion.
Yeah,
we're a little biased. I'll just say that. But Voltage Wrestling, the main event, still on. It is Corey Bush challenging for the Voltage Wrestling Grand Championship against the one and only leader, the kingpin of Riot City, if you will, Sickened. And ladies and gentlemen, the trash talk has calmed down, but I saw Corey earlier this week. It really hasn't.
It's calmed down publicly.
It's calmed down publicly, but yeah, Corey this week, he was in the studio for a little bit. He came up and he was just like, hey, I'm just, I'm going to let you know, you should probably get used to me being your Voltage Wrestling Grand Champion.
He's been saying that for a while.
Yeah. I got everybody breathing down my neck. I got Corey breathing down my neck. I got Captain D promising a huge, huge surprise for me at this Voltage Wrestling event. And I'm kind of scared by this because he's been hyping it up for months, and it's finally going to get delivered.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that from backstage. Like, I don't want anything.
Yeah, I'm going to, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah, I mean, did I tell you, did you see Hamburg?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, did he just show? We show up and we put up our stuff, and then all of a sudden, again, his boat blocks in our car. He sets his table up beside us, threw hot sauce on us, threw candy at Rennis. It was just it was pandemonium up there. Like Heath Slater was like, man, what did you do to this pirate? Like, you shouldn't have heat with a pirate. And I'm telling him the entire time. I'm sitting next to Heath Slater. I'm just like, I don't know what I did to this man. He's mad that I haven't advertised him for the show. I don't know what I did, but apparently I'm gonna
blink twice if you want us to call somebody.
Yeah. And does anybody else out there have pirates plotting your demise? Anybody? No, just me. Okay.
It's a fairly uncommon problem.
It's a very uncommon problem unless you're I don't know.
Unless you live in this world.
I mean, I could see maybe an employee of Long John Silver's giving you bad food. That's the closest, most regular, everyday folks. But we're in the wrestling business, so this is where this happens. Pirates plot your demise, and apparently my demise is coming on August 28th.
Well, we all got to go sometime, my friend.
Yeah, we're either going to be laughing hysterically after this, or I'm going to be dead. Who knows?
Brian Carball chiming in again. I have it on good authority that Captain Decapitate, big news, is he's going to introduce a new flavor of cereal.
Oh, don't start this. Oof. Don't start this. It's like if you mention cereal 3 times, he's going to show up.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. Yeah, we've also got Nunzio on the card facing Max Morrison now. We've got Blackout. They're still going against the Fly Fellas, AK and Isaiah Frazier, who are defending their ATCW tag team titles tonight. And plenty more talent. Like I know Alan Clayball and Sage Matthews of Dog Nation, they've been talking about coming in. This is the big one, though, that I heard this week. Jacob Edwin is bringing his tag team partner finally. He finally found a tag team partner.
He finally found one.
Yeah, and Eric Ekton is still not happy.
No, I wouldn't be.
No, he's still not happy about the whole Rhino situation.
Edwin put him right in front of Rhino, and then,
Yeah, if I get gored and my partner left me high and dry, I'd be a little upset too.
I'd be salty about that for a little bit.
I haven't seen Jordan Evans since. Jordan Evans is big mad.
Yeah.
He's big mad. So, we've got that. And, ladies and gentlemen, I will finish it up with this. The Voltage Wrestling events on August 28th and September 18th, they're going to be huge. I promise you that. But there's even bigger news coming. And we're going to end it with this. Eventually, over the next week or two, there's going to be a Voltage Wrestling story that is going to send shockwaves through area wrestling.
It's going to break the local internet.
It's going to break the local internet. Yeah, it is. And it's going to send shockwaves through the wrestling world here in the area. It's going to be something that's going to be talked about quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm very excited about it. very, very excited about it. But
I'm proud of you for being able to contain that right now.
yeah, I'm trying. Like, I don't want to blurt it out. I don't want to talk about it too much because I know I'm going to spoil it.
Right.
But there's some good things coming. Some good things coming.
Good things coming.
But ladies and gentlemen, you never know where you're going to see us next. Voltage Wrestling, August 28th.
3 weeks from today.
Bad Habits Bar and Grill. You can get your tickets online at voltagewrestling.com/Martinsburg. We're going to be at O'Connell's on September 18th. You can get your tickets for that. Same website, voltagewrestling.com. We have the tickets up on sale for Great Vengeance and Furious Anger. These are two cards you do not want to miss.
You want to be there. Trust me.
You want to be there for these cards. We're going to be putting out some insane deals this week on how you can attend both cards at a discounted rate.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we're going to have sort of a party pack, if you will.
I dig it.
As you should. As you should. But
let's put those asses in the seats.
Let's get those asses. Yeah, you know what? Brian Carball chimes in. Is Rennis going to wrestle? We're working on it. We're going to get that man trained just yet. You are going to see your boy wrestle a match before it's all said and done. I guarantee you. We're working on it. I've been wearing him down. I've been wearing him down for a bit about it. So, yeah, let's. Chad Smith has even been in here. Flex Phenom, like,
yeah,
he's even been in here. Like, Rennis, let me train you. It's like it's literally every other week thing. So
right.
I feel like within the next year we're going to see a wrestling match out of Rennis the Menace.
Let's do it.
Yeah, why not, man? I'm looking forward to he's probably going to be like insanely good. Like, have you seen that kid training in the gym?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Training, saying his vitamins, eating his vitamins, and saying his prayers like a real American. Gotta love it, man.
Oh, he's the youngest one out of all of us.
He's young, yeah.
We got to put him in the ring.
Yeah, it sure as hell isn't going to be me in the ring anymore. My knees don't work anymore. My back's all jacked up. My head's, I don't even know where that's at anymore.
And I'm a lover, not a fighter. So
well, yeah, we'll get you to referee once. Yeah, how about it? But all right, for myself and Kyle T. Reyes, you can catch his podcast on the Ridiculous Podcast every Wednesday night. I am Mike Raddick. We will see you next time. Same podcast time, same podcast channel.
This is the Podcast Pit, brought to you by Ben Media.